They're trying to.
Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2.
How about 3 4?
We're going on the live stream. There we go. Okay.
You made it good. The lady in pink, look at you. You put me to shame. He's out there.
Watch that sort of.
That was from the.
I don't like the lights dimming and the flashing and the top. About to start.
Only just one.
How are you?
Oh, this is beautiful. This is so great. I didn't realize. Yep. Is that? I don't know whether she still goes. Yeah, in my house, I've got all this stuff.
And it will all be putting them on together.
Well, she had to get
You still have time, David.
You have 3
There's
minutes.
6 minutes. 6 minutes.
No, this is wrong. This
What do you
phone,
have, 3
it's
minutes?
10:27,
3.
Now 2 minutes.
right? 10:27,
Yeah, now it's
28 now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we should be on the same time.
Yeah.
You counting down, Richard? Counting
Thank
down?
you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we're on the same time now.
Are you unmuted?
No, yes, I'm unmuted.
Take your time. Yours, right?
No. Bonnie. Say hi to Barbara Neal for us, please. Thanks.
We have enough chairs? Need some more chairs.
Yes.
We're gonna have a group of strong men, bring some more chairs in, please.
Yeah, really.
And let Judy do it.
Strong, peaceful people.
Let's just hold up.
Yeah, just say that.
Okay, that's what I'm
Every cheap.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome. We are going to begin. If you have not yet put on your talits. So if you are putting on your talit, let's say the bracha together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yitzrotah v'chanu lehitateh b'tzit. And please be seated. And our service begins on page 14 at the bottom of the page, page 14. If you need the prayer books, we've got plenty of prayer books. Yismech Hashamayim. Hashamayim. Yeram hayam, yeram hayam, yeram hayam. Hayam, yeram hayam, Shia amen. Pare tenakuleha. Yom HaShabbat, Yom HaShabbat, is for Shir, Shir Yom HaShabbat, is for Shir, Shir Yom HaShabbat. Ernest Pamadan, the same. Glory and love of Adir Bama Pro, my Malchutecha, Kol Olamim, Shabtecha, Techa Ledor Vador, Malchutecha, Kol Olamim, Shabtecha, Techa Ledor Vador, Malchutecha, Kol Olamim, Shabtecha, Techa Ledor Vador, Malchutecha, Kol Olamim, Shabtecha, Dor vador, va'anachnu nevarech ya, ve'ata v'yad olam, ve'ata v'yad olam. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Please rise. La 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 la. La 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 la. Please be seated. And we are on page 16. Or Chadash Asiyotai Nizkeh Kulanu Me'Raleoro Chadash Asiyotai Nizkeh Kulanu Me'Raleoro Baruch Hashem Amiorod Avarabahatan Adonai Eloheinu Gedolah v'Tera Amatan Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu Ma'avur Avoteinu Shabbat Lecha Avinu Malkeinu Lavdeinu Kechayim Kechayim Lavdeinu Avinu Avarachman Amrachem Rachem Aleinu V'Tengenu Le'avi Le'avinu Laskil Lishmo Alel Mo'el Le'lamed Lishmor Elasod Odayeh Et Kol Divrei Talmud Torah Techa B'Yam Wearing a talit, we gather our fringes, the tzitzit. V'havienu l'shalom yibachim for ta'aretz. Tolicheinu komim v'liyoteinu ke'elpeh on Yeshuot ata. V'manu v'chata mikolam v'lashon. V'kerev tanu l'shimcha gadol sala v'emet. L'hodot l'cha u'liyachetcha b'yahava. Baruch ata Adonai. Avocher b'yamo Yisrael b'ahava. Shema Yisrael Adonai Ni'avta et Adonai Echa v'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol neftecha v'hayu hadvarim hael asher anochi mitzavecha hayom levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'yishmaeltam v'shigrecha v'etecha v'leftecha b'derech v'shachmecha v'bikumecha Ukishartam Page 18. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the children of Israel and bid them to make tzitzit in the corners of their garments throughout their generations, putting upon the tzitzit of each corner a thread of blue. When you look upon the tzitzit, you will be reminded of all the commandments of the Lord and obey them. You will not be led astray by the inclination of your heart or by the attraction of your eyes. Thus will you be reminded to fulfill all my commandments and be consecrated to God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I, the Lord, am your God. Azot, azot, shibechu ahuvim, shibechu ahuvim. V'ramemu, 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 v'natenu, v'natenu yedidim, v'natenu, v'natenu yedidim. Shirot, shirot, v'tismachot, v'rachot, v'hodaot, l'melech el chai v'kayam. Ram Nisa Gadol Venora Mashkireim Umagri Alim Motzi Asirim Vode Anavinio Zerdali Neliam Neliam Hey, love, Tilo Elion Berchma Barach, Moshe Ugane Yisrael Echani Shira B'Simcha Rabba, V'Yamaru Chulam, Mi Chamocha V'Elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osei Shira Chadashashi B'Chu Geulim L'Shimcha Sfat Hayam, Yachad kulam hodu v'himlichu v'yamaru Adonai Elok. So we're going to pause. This is our opportunity to express publicly what we're thankful for, and then in a few minutes we'll have some private time to be able to do the same. And this is anniversary Shabbat, and so we're celebrating two couples who are here with us, celebrating their anniversaries in the month of March. The Loomises, Paula and Lou are celebrating their 52nd, or Paul and Lou, it depends, are celebrating their 52nd wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. And Ray and Armand Wazana are celebrating their 58th wedding anniversary. So I'm not going to ask you to rise. Paula is recovering from the surgery, a new knee, right? So your knee is actually a lot younger than your marriage. So we're going to have an opportunity to celebrate for the two couples. Any other couples here, by the way, you're celebrating an anniversary in March? Okay, so I'm going to read a prayer for you, and we join in your celebration. Eloheinu v'Eloheinu b'Yimotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, we are grateful for the love which you have blessed and sustained these husbands and wives whose hearts are filled with gratitude to you. Lord, may they continue to enjoy your blessings in the new song of their years to come, embraced by the love of their family and their friends, so that they may always live in joy and gladness, in love and harmony, in peace and companionship. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. And let us now open it up to anything that you would like to share for which you are thankful. Claire.
I just want to thank everybody for all your nice thoughts and help, and the Rabbi and all their help, and including people from Arizona there. and not to mention Phil was making the decaf for me. Oh, and Judy took over my my morning work here.
And if you're going to introduce your family to us, please.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. I'm having a little brain fog right now. Because, yeah, my local, this is my local children are here, and Jessica, and Jay, and his wife Donna. Do you remember him?
Thank you. It's wonderful to have you here. Ed, I saw your hand up, please.
I just wanted to give thanks for the great conversation I'm going to when I show up. Also I wanted to mention that my son and daughter-in-law, they're expecting a baby around April. And if it is on April 14th on my birthday, I'll never forget the date.
B'Shana Tova, we say, in anticipation of a new birth. Who else would like to share what you are thankful for? Bonnie.
I'm very grateful for good physical therapists. And I've been going to Daniel at Kaiser for my back, and he is absolutely wonderful. He just zeroed right in on what I needed to strengthen. He gave me specific exercises, and in the last 2 weeks, there has been improvement. So I'm just feeling very blessed at his knowledge and abilities.
Thank you. Paula.
Well, I am too I'm almost 4 weeks post-surgery, and they all tell me I'm doing very well. The physical therapists, like Bonnie said, are fabulous. And because there have been so many of these types of surgeries, they don't do individual physical therapy, they have classes. So but you still get the individual care and attention. And believe me, they spend more time with you than the doctor. So they answer all the questions, and I'm very lucky. And thank you to Lou for helping to take care of me.
Good to see you up and around. Thank you, Paula. Who else would like to share what you were thankful for? Davida.
Well, mine is a little minor, but I am thankful that for the first time in my life I ever made Hamantaschen. I went to my Hadassah group and made Hamantaschen, and that was the most rewarding thing to do. I know that she makes the best meringue and all the baking, but it was so much fun to get to do this and be proud and to give it to people and get them all excited. So that was a good thing for Purim. And my husband's birthday was on Purim, so I'm happy to be with a 77-year-old man. That I knew in college.
Thank you. Who else would like to share what you are thankful for?
How about on Zoom?
Anybody on Zoom would like to share what you're thankful for? Okay. Well, it is our tradition to have the oldest person in the room share. To have Stan Schroeder. Stan Schroeder has every Shabbat is sharing who he is thankful for, what he is thankful for, especially for those things that have added and enriched his life. So, Stan, please share.
Thank you. This tradition goes back about 20 years now, from the days of Kol Tikva, which some of you remember. And of course, it was part of Rabbi Vorspan's service at all times to do this thankfulness. And I told him that, well, one of the things that I'm thankful for is the people that came before me and made this world that I'm blessed to be in. At the time, I was writing bios and still do from time to time for the Shir Notes. And so it started out talking about individuals, but it's branched into whatever I feel is part of creating a community, a Jewish community, which is what we have. And a lot of it is about Israel. I'm certainly a passionate Zionist, about Judaism in terms of Torah, about Judaism in terms of community and peoplehood, and so many other things that we're all blessed, and we don't often think of the blessings that we have each day. So, so I've been doing this, and we have such a really great crowd here today that we haven't had. And of course, I'd like to think it's because people have heard that that's what I say. I don't think that, but I'd like. And I mentioned last time for Shabbat that this Shabbat is on March 15th, the Ides of March. And of course, the death of Julius Caesar, who had a history with the Jews. Um, and the Romans, of course, at that time had long history. And but talking about the Ides of March itself, the Romans did not number each day of a month from the first to the last. Instead, they counted back from 3 fixed points in the month. The nuns, the 5th or 7th, 8 days before the Ides. The Ides were the 13th in most months, but the 15th of March, May, July, and October. And the Calends, which is the beginning of the next month. And originally, Ides was supposed to be determined by the full moon, but the Romans and Martius uh, for March was the first month of the Roman year until late in the mid second century before the Common Era. So there's fixed points in the month, and that's what we have our holidays. And of course, now we're not the only tradition to have that. And the holiday that we have today is Shushan Purim. The second day of Purim, in effect, mostly celebrated in walled cities. Uh, and it's coincidental that Lulu Loomis and I are in this Talmud class at Hamakom, and we've been talking for maybe the last 2 or 3 months about Purim, what the Talmud says about Purim, and we just learned why certain areas are in walled cities. What did the Talmud say? What is a walled city? And it's not only those that have walls at the current time, it's those that may have had walls at some previous time. It's any city or area that's within either sight or visual sight or nearness, just proximity to a walled city. So that's why, for instance, that more of Jerusalem and Israel is certainly celebrating this Shushan Purim. And okay, getting back, according to Josephus, Pompey stepped into the Holy of Holies, the innermost sanctum of the temple. He did not take any booty, but Judea was under Roman domination, and there was a Caesar and Pompey, and of course a lot of controversy and who was going to end up on top. Caesar got killed. That was years later. But what it did end up is which part of uh, Israel, either the southern part or the northern part, which were both in existence at that time, were part of Caesar's coalition, the Roman coalition. And it ended up that because of the things that went on at that time, is why we ended up with King Herod, probably the most vicious of all of them. But we can look back and see the many things that have brought us to where we are today, and be thankful for all of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Stan. By the way, Shushan Purim is because the Jews of Shushan, the capital, had to fight an extra day. They didn't defeat their enemy until the second day, and so Shushan Purim was established. The problem this year is that Purim is on a Friday, which means that Shushan Purim would be today on Shabbat. But there are certain things that you can't do on Shabbat, such as giving out matanot le'evyonim or gifts to other people or to the poor. And so that's why tomorrow is known as Purim Mishulash, which means that those things that if you are in a walled city, which today is only Jerusalem, if you are in a walled city and you normally would celebrate Purim, those things that you can't do on Shabbat are going to be postponed until tomorrow. It was really interesting. A couple of years ago, by the way, our kids here at D Toledo would go. The 10th graders would all go to Israel and live there for a period of time. And sometimes, because spring break is around this time in Israel, they would go around Purim time. And so last year, I think it was, or maybe the year before, so our kids went. and they were going to spend some time in Tel Aviv, and they were going to spend some time in Jerusalem. The problem that year was that they were going to be in Jerusalem on Purim, which meant they were not going to be able to celebrate it because in Jerusalem they were going to celebrate it the next day. But the next day they were going to be in Tel Aviv. So they were in Israel and they never celebrated Purim, even though they were there for Purim. But thank you. Yes, you can.
I sent an email that explained some of that, and also the parades that they have and the history of that. So if you're on my email list or find it, you'll see, or you can find the information itself. Really interesting, the way that they've arranged the second day,
Yeah.
the third day.
Yeah, thank you for sending that out. Stan is so enriches us educationally in the congregation with all of the lessons that he teaches us, both through his document, the Shir Notes, that he is the founder and editor of, as well as coming and speaking to us every Shabbat. So thank you, Stan. Yeshikoach. We're now going to continue with our own private prayers of thankfulness. We're at the bottom of page 18. Please rise. Sur Yisrael, Kuma v'Yezra Yisrael, Uvedei Yechinu Meha, Yehuda v'Yisrael. Aleinu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Adonai Yisrael. And we move away from the prayer book to the meditations of our hearts. We continue quiet. Shalom Tova Uvracha V'chesed v'rachamim Aleinu v'yakol Aleinu v'yakol Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael Alecha Shalom Tova Uvracha v'chesed v'rachamim Shalom Tova Uvracha Ein v'chesed v'rachamim Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael Shalom Tova Uvracha Ein v'chesed v'rachamim Ose shalom, 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 B'roma v'u'ira, Ose shalom, Aleinu, Ose shalom, 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 B'roma v'u'ira, Ose shalom, Aleinu. Yisrael, Yitgadal, Yitgadal Shmei Rabbah. Yomani Brachiru Tebe Mechmachate B'Chayechon V'Yomeichon U'B'Chayechon Beit Yisrael Ba'Agala V'Zman Krivi Yimeru Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach L'Yom Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yital v'yitalal shemei d'kodesha v'yilah min kol b'chata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechmata da'amiran v'alma v'yimeru v'yikibel tzv'rahon v'dahon l'chol Yisrael kadam avon v'shmai v'yimeru Shalom Rabbim and Shalom V'chaim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Say shalom b'mromav v'yaseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. We're in the middle of page 19. We've come to our Torah service. Let's give out some honors. Who would like the honor of carrying the Torah through the congregation? But it's Lou's anniversary, so well, we'll get you next time.
Next time.
Thank you. Who would like to be the Hagba? Pick up the Torah. Yeah. Who would like to be the Galila to wrap the Torah? Right. Please continue on page 19 for the Torah service. Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai mi'ein kemasecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oshri amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Rachamim k'tiva b'rtzoncha et Tzion. Tivne chomot Yerushalayim, Tivne chomot Yerushalayim. Kivecha le'adratayim, ve'lechem v'nisa ad Yerushalayim. V'yibinso Aaron v'yomer Moshe Gumar Adonai v'yavuzu lo'evecha v'yanusu misanecha mipanecha ki mitzion tetzei Torah ki mitzion tetzei Torah Udevar Adonai Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato Be'yad harachetz Velish Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Anna Amaratu Shmechan, Be'yad harachetz, Be'yad harachetz, Velish Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Anna Amaratu Shmechan, Yehi Libi v'yoraita v'tashli meshali delibi v'libadechol amach Yisrael l'tavu l'chayim v'lishlam. Amen.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Adonai Hagedula v'Hagevura v'Hatiferet v'Hanetzach v'Havod K'kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz K'kol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz Adonai V'hamid na'aseh Mitzion tetzei Torah Mitzion tetzei Torah Ki Mitzion At Shir Ami, everybody gets an aliyah every Shabbos, but you got to stay where you are. So, but you're close enough to be able to do this effectively. So everybody, please point. If you're not wearing a talit, you can just use your pinky, or if you are wearing a talit, right here, and kiss, and we join together. Baruch Adonai Hatorah, Baruch Adonai Hatorah Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai
Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, ki tisa et rosh b'nei Yisrael, livkudehem v'natnu ish kofer nafsho, l'Adonai bifkod otam v'lo yiyeh bahem, neged bifkod otam. Zayitenu kol ha'over al ha'pikudim machatzit ha'shekel b'shekel ha'kodesh ezrin gera ha'shekel machatzit ha'shekel truma l'Adonai.
This again. Baruch
Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tachenu Baruch atah Adonai notei haTorah.
Yeshua. You may be seated. I knew there weren't enough sheets to go around. So if some of you just please share. But the Torah portion this Shabbat, Ki Tisa, is, while it continues the discussion of the Mishkan, this portable tabernacle, it is interrupted with one of the most remarkable stories in the entire Torah. If you don't have a sheet, if you could raise your hand, we can just make sure that at least everybody has somebody who's sitting next to somebody with the sheet. Everybody, looking on with somebody? Good. Do we have extra sheets? No? Okay. The story, the remarkable story is the story of the golden calf. And we know the story, but the question that rabbis are going to have is, why would Moses do this? The most precious object, something that was actually created, written by God, the finger of God, created these laws that were going to govern Israelite life. And what does he do? He throws them to the ground. You can imagine the rabbis thinking, if I walk into my house and I see that my loved one is having an affair and I interrupted it, I'm not going to pick up a vase Ming jar and worth $100,000 and crash it to the ground because I'm so upset. I'm going to find something that makes it so effective, but that doesn't cost me $100,000. So what does Moses do? That's what he does. He takes the Torah and he crashes it to the ground. So that is exactly what the rabbis are going to try to figure out. Why did he do it? And there are a number of different responses. First, let's take a look at the sentence in the Torah that describes what I just shared. As soon as Moses came near the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, he became enraged, and he hurled the tablets from his hands and shattered them at the foot of the mountain. So the question then is, what was Moses' state of mind when he broke the tablets? So let's take a look at a few of the rabbinic commentaries and see how they can even apply to our own lives. So the first one is going to be Rashbam, who said, when Moses saw the calf, his strength waned, and he was unable to throw the tablets very far at all, so as not to injure his own feet as they fell. Like one who must drop a burden he no longer has strength to carry. This is the essential, plain meaning of the text. So does this describe we Jews who are carrying the tablets of halakha, of law, and it gets to a point where we're just drained. We don't want to do it anymore. It's getting heavy. It's meaningless. It feels like I'm carrying a burden, and I just want to drop it, like Moses drops the tablets. Take a look at the next one from Rabbi Yismar Shorish of blessed memory. He was the chancellor of the Jewish Theological Seminary. And B, Moses was overcome with despair. Made of stone, the two tablets were painfully heavy. Yet as long as they bore the inscriptions etched by God, they bore themselves and Moses along with them. But once they caught sight of the drums and the dancing around the calf, the holy letters fled their stone setting and reascended to heaven, leaving Moses to carry the denuded stones on his own. Helpless, he threw them to the ground. So how does this relate to us? There are Jewish things that we do. If you grew up in a home that kept kosher, kept the Shabbat, did prayers, was involved in Jewish life, is there a point when we get older that the letters seem to have left the building? They no longer seem to be carrying the weight, helping me carry the weight of doing the ritual. The kashrut seems to it lost its meaning. The Shabbat observance seems to be too difficult, and it doesn't include the same spirit that helped me to want to continue to do these Jewish rituals. And when that happens to us, or when we feel despair because the whole Jewish enterprise just seems to be no longer something that we resonate to, the idea is not to drop it like the tablets. The idea is to reinvigorate them, adding new inscriptions, adding new letters that we help to form and to create and to put on the tablets. Something that will help to make meaning out of the things that we've been doing. Something that will help to give more energy, to give more of a spirit to what we've been doing, but that just seems to be by rote now and not by joy. And so anything that we have been doing that seems to have lost its luster, we can polish it up again by investing in it new interpretations, by discussing them with other Jews who might also feel the same way and seeing what can we do to make it more interesting. I'll give you an example. Havdalah is something that people might grow up doing, lighting the candles and smelling the incense and celebrating the departure of Shabbat on Saturday night. But after a while, maybe it just loses its meaning. Maybe the family that used to encircle with you the objects that you used to create the Havdalah ceremony, they're all scattered in their own homes now. And it's just one or two people who are at home and they wonder, do I feel the same way now saying goodbye to the Shabbat? So what can be done in order to bring back the joy? How about FaceTiming those the very same people that aren't around your physical table anymore with the Havdalah items, but rather call them up and FaceTime them and have you come back again into your home. You can do the same thing Friday night. I know a lot of families when it comes to time to light the Shabbat candles and people are scattered, they make a point of calling each other and reminding each other or joining together and singing together. They Zoom, they find ways to reinvigorate a ritual that seems to be losing its steam. Let's take a look at the next one. This is C. This is what Moses did. When Israel perpetrated that act, he took the tablets and shattered them as if to imply that had Israel foreseen the punishment awaiting them, they would not have sinned. Moses, moreover, said, far better that they be judged as having done it unintentionally than as if they had willfully committed the act. So what does that mean? Well, if it really was an act of idol worship, then the rabbis are conflicted on whether by building the golden calf, they were really creating an idol that they were going to worship, or whether it was through the idol that they reminded themselves of God's presence and they are really praying to God, but using this as a vehicle to help that process. But if it really was an idol, well, where were they commanded not to build idols and to bow down to them? It was in the Torah. Where were the laws of the Torah? Moses was bringing them down. So they didn't know that there was a law that says you can't bow down to idols. It was in the Torah. If Moses gave them the Torah, then they would have violated the law. So there's something in Judaism, in Jewish law, called lahatchilin b'diavad, which means that if you know ahead of time that you're about to break a law, that's lahatchila. That is, you purposely are violating the law that you knew was there. You can't drive 65 miles an hour because that's the law and you knew it was there and you broke it. But b'diavad means you didn't know that was 65 miles an hour. It's a new neighborhood. It's a new road. You didn't see any posted signs. You thought it was still 75 because that's what it was on the freeway. And suddenly you violated the law. But you didn't know you were violating the law. Well, you still violated it, right? If you were caught by a policeman, you'd still get a ticket. But in Judaism, it's different. In Judaism, if you didn't know what the law was and you violated and then you found out, you didn't really violate the law. And so similarly, Moses said, I don't want them to have violated the law. I'm not giving them the commandments. And it's interesting because according to Jewish law, if you go into a new town and they have other ways of doing Jewish things that are different from what you know to be the law, but their customs, like you go to Ethiopia, right? And what used to be known as the Flash Jews, and they're doing something and they've been excluded from the whole development of Jewish law because they've been in the mountains of Ethiopia and they didn't know what the rabbis in Babylonia or Palestine were coming up with the creation of the Talmud. And so they were doing Judaism one way and then suddenly you have a whole new way that's being created by the rabbis. And now you go into this town and you're watching these Jews doing things wrong. You're not allowed to correct them because that has become the custom of the place. And there's a halacha principle, minhag mevatel halacha, which means a custom sometimes is more important than a law. And you keep, and you don't correct them. Let's take a look at a couple more. D. When the Holy One gave Moses the tablets, they carried themselves as though weightless. But when he descended and approached the camp, he saw the calf, the writings on the tablets flew off, and the tablets became heavy. So we kind of saw that before. But here's the one that might be particularly interesting, the last one, E. Now we may understand when Moses perceived the physical and mental state of the people, he promptly broke the tablets. He feared they would deify the tablets as they had done the calf. Had he brought them the tablets intact, they would have substituted them for the calf and not reformed their ways. But now that he had broken the tablets, they realized how far they had fallen short of true faith. It was the first tablets that were the work of God that were broken, not the tablets hewn by Moses, which remained whole, demonstrating that no holiness resides in anything created other than that invested in it by Israel's observance of the Torah in accordance with the will of the Creator in his holy name. which is interesting because Moses said, as soon as I was gone, he had to create this idol. Why? Because they were idolizing me. And what's going to happen when I die? They're going to want a substitute for me. And I'm afraid it's going to be these tablets. And so we praise the tablet. Well, I'm going to share with you the one that I like the best, which is none of these. Even though these were good, right? We all think that Moses saw the golden calf, and in his rage, being so taken by what he is seeing, and so surprised, he takes the tablets and he throws them down. But that's impossible. That's not what the text says. Look what the text says. Moses is still up on Mount Sinai. And the Lord said to Moses, hurry down, for your people whom you brought out of the land of Egypt have acted basely. They have been quick to turn aside from the way that I enjoined upon them. They have made themselves a molten calf and bowed low to it and sacrificed to it. So it wasn't a surprise that when he saw that, he was warned by God. Then why did he throw the tablets? Well, here's what happened. When he gets down there, this is the way it's described when he actually sees it. Thereupon Moses turned and went down from the mountain bearing the 2 tablets of the pact. Tablets inscribed on both sides. The tablets were the work of God. And as soon as Moses came to the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, he became enraged and he hurled the tablets. What's different between what he saw and what God warned him about? God never said anything about them dancing. He just said they created a molten calf and they're praying to it. What's the difference between dancing that Moses saw that made him break the tablets? It was that if they just had created a golden calf and were praying to it, Moses can instruct them as to what they were doing wrong and they would stop. But the dancing means that it got into their kishkas. They were enjoying it. They were sucked into it. It was really now a part of them. It's no longer just something cerebral. Now it's in their soul. And that's going to be almost impossible to get out. I was a teacher here for many years. And that was exactly what we tried to do with the students. To inspire them with Judaism in such a way that it gets into their kishka. And they dance. Yeah, we don't want them dancing around idols. But we want them dancing around Judaism. And that's what we have to try to do ourselves. So all the things that I said before about breaking the idol, the tablets, because Judaism is losing its luster, we've got to find the dancing that comes with Judaism. If you've ever watched Chabadniks, for everything that we can find about Chabad to be problematic, when you see a Chabadnik dancing, they're really dancing. It's really in their kishkas. And we need to try to grab some of that spirit and bring it into us as part of the way in which Judaism becomes a living, breathing, spirited, joyful experience, so that we don't have to break any tablets. We love the intact Judaism that we experience. And if you agree, please say amen. Amen. We're going to start doing that more often. Saturday, they clap. They applaud. Sermon. I don't know very many congregations that do that, but ever since David Wolpe began giving sermons, they just felt that when he finished, they needed to applaud. So I'll just say every now and then we'll throw that in just so I know you're awake. So we're going to do a Misha Berach now for those who are not well, and I'll ask you to mention the names of people. Misha Berach Avatenu Abraham Isaac Yaakov Yimotenu Sarah Chavalea Hu Yavarach V'Rabbeinu Cholim. May he who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal these who are sick.
Sina Schuster, Rick and Betsy Schuster, Courtney Franklin.
Paul Loomis, Len Shredstein, and Chuck Richmond.
Ruth Solomon, Shirley Matlin, Amanda Severe,
Glenn Kravitz, Russ Scaffold, Lindsay, Carol Madrigal, Jeff Siegel.
Thank you.
Megan Ross, Elliot Ackerfield, Diana Stonemaker, John Stonemaker, Kim Finley, Jenny Finley, Jerry Ross, Stephanie Ross, Gary, Paula, Phyllis, and Sheila.
Echo Ferris, Shoshana, Raquel Mata, Shoshana, Anya Hutbegu, Raquel Kepsia, Mike Levine, Aaron Matz, Geraldine Sparron, Doris Ostra.
Thank you. Other names?
Phyllis, Sheila, Paula, Eileen Wasserman, Beth Brown, Christine Paul, Rachel.
Thank you. Other names?
Helga.
Helga? Other names?
Janet Aquarius.
Phyllis, Helga, Bonnie,
Paula, and Janet Aquarius.
Thank you. Other names?
Don Davis, Phil Cooper, and Janetta Wazana, Suzanne Matthew, Phyllis, Sheila, Paula, Gary, Finley.
Thank you. Other names?
Lori Blas, Phyllis, and Helga.
Thank you.
Rita Nadavsela, Pearl Bot Yehuda, Jane Epson, Nancy Arkin, Ken Winters, Barbara Garibach, Maureen Krantz, Bob Scharf, Steve Smallson, Minute Good Friend, Rachel Borspan, Jordy Epstein, Linda Rorban, Mina Hersher, Corinne Geller, Rebecca Farber, and Brianna Gribben, and Chashka Bat Nechama Vechana Zettel.
Thank you. Other names, please.
Lori Nitkin.
Thank you.
Nancy Satin, Jane Green, Walter Gray, Sheldon
Thank you, Bob.
Judy Goldsmith, Levi Fletcher.
Thank you. Any names online? Janet, please unmute.
Richard, Grant
Grant
Hack, Sheriff
Sheriff
Arthur,
Arthur,
Brian Day, Sophia
Kirschbaum,
Mark,
Mark,
Linda
Linda
Pittler,
Pittler,
Kenny
Kenny
Pittler,
Pittler,
and Carol
Carol
Wilson.
Wilson.
Thank you. Richard?
My wife, Janet.
Thank you. Anybody else online has a name? Okay, anybody else in the room that we've neglected? HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishlach lehem b'meiru b'fuat ha'nefesh b'fuat ha'guf b'toshach le'yisrael v'nomar amen. May the All-Merciful restore these people to full health and to full vigor, along with all others who are stricken with illness, and let us say amen. Before we say our prayer for the state of Israel, prayer for America, Harachamanu Yivarech et Artzot Habrit, V'yagena Laha, may God bless the United States and protect her. And before we have a prayer for the state of Israel, I want to tell you that there is something called the World Zionist Congress, and the World Zionist Congress is made up of Israelis and non-Israeli Jews who are given $1 billion, and they need to decide what to do with the $1 billion, either to deal with the infrastructure of Israel or to deal with some of the other outside of Israel, some of the concerns that Jews might have. Who sits on this World Council, this World Congress, the Zionist Congress? It is made up of hundreds of people, but a third of the votes go to Jews outside of Israel. So 152 votes get to go to Jews who are outside of Israel, and the other 2/3 go to Jews who live in Israel. And they're going to be meeting in October in order to begin discussing what to do with that $1 billion. Which means that the Jews outside of Israel have a vested interest on getting people in that Congress to be able to deal with the issues that they feel are important, that are affecting them as Jews inside and outside of Israel. Which means that there are different slates of Jews that are trying to get their members onto the part of the 152 delegates from outside of Israel. In conservative movement, the Masorti movement has a slate. We're known as slate number 17. And the more votes that slate number 17 gets, the more representation the conservative movement is going to have in the World Zionist Congress. The voting takes place over the internet, and it takes place by everybody who wants going online and voting. It costs $5, but that makes you a member of the World Zionist Congress. And then you vote for slate number 17 if you believe that the conservative movement should have a role to play in how that $1 billion is spent. So when you leave, those of you who want to be involved in this, you can go ahead and you can take one of these bookmarks. And if you use the QR code, you'll be able to go right to the site on the internet and be able to cast your vote. You've got until May, like May the 4th, I think is the last day to vote. I'm going to be sending an email out probably tomorrow to the membership that is going to include all of the instructions as well as a video that you can watch to see exactly what this whole World Zionist Congress is all about, and give you the opportunity to vote. Just a word of because Bonnie and I just did it a couple of days ago, the voting just opened up on the 10th of this month, and we voted. We found that it took a little bit of time to get our address to be recognized, and so don't be deterred. Just if it keeps on saying what's your address, just keep typing it in, and then you'll ultimately get your vote cast. Okay. So these are going to be. I'll put them here, and you'll also get an email from me tomorrow. Deleted.
Because like you're saying number 17, because I've been getting for slate 23. I mean, do you know?
There are 21 slates.
There's 21.
And the 21 slates represent the Reform movement, the Orthodox, the Sephardic community, the different organizations within the other Zionist organizations. So you can go online and you can see exactly what the different slates are.
Okay, if there's 21.
21 of them.
Well, how many are conservative? How many are? I mean,
just one is the conservative.
Just the one.
Just one, just 17.
And it says Merkaz on it.
Right, thank you. So it's called Merkaz USA.
I was wondering what 23 is, because maybe I'm getting that from Chabad.
There is no 23.
You're not 21.
There are only 21.
Maybe that's
No, but there are 21, but actually there are 23. Two of them are unoccupied. So there are 21, but there very well may be a 23. I'm sorry. Any questions about voting? Okay, so please take advantage of that, and let's get the conservative movement to have representation, because there are issues that we have, like getting Israeli shlichim, representatives from Israel, to go to the Ramah camps and to be able to go there during the summer and help and inspire our kids with Zionism. So we're going to say a prayer for the state of Israel. At the same time, we'll have the Hadba and the Delilah. Please come forward. Everybody, please rise. Avinu Bashamayim, Tzor Yisrael, the Golden Baharei, Medinas Yisrael, V'yislicha, Geulatei. V'zot HaTorah Asher Nitah Moshe L'fnei Yisrael Avi Adonai V'yad Moshe Yisrael De'oraita Adu Yisrael De'oraita Adu Torah, Torah, hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah. Ayim hilama chazikim ba v'tomcheha me'ushar deracheha darchei noam v'von tivotcheha
Shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Menashua Kadesh Kadesh Yameinu Kadesh Yameinu Yekenem.
We remain standing for Musaf, the bottom of page 21. Yitgadal v'yitkadash me'rava Yamad erachirutei v'mechmachutei v'chayim Ol yom echonu chayim v'chol beit Yisrael U'rizman kari v'yimeru amen Yehesh me'rava mevorah Le'olam le'olam maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'trumam v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha le'ila mikol berchata v'shirata tushlichata v'nekemata v'yimeru. Page 22, we take 3 small steps back and 3 steps forward. Put our heels together and we bow. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaHaNorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot U'Mevi Goel V'Bneihem L'man Shemo B'Yahava V'Chozer Mashiach Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Atah Gibor Elam Adonai Mechayim Eitim Atah Rav Moshiach Mashiva Ruach U'Morih Hashem Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed Mechayim Eitim B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim B'Rofei Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayim Emunato L'Shenei Afar Michamocha Bal Giburot U'Midam Melach Melech Medid U'Mechayeh U'Matzmiach Yeshua Ne'eman atah l'chayot metim Baruch atah Adonai L'chayei hametim Na'aritzcha v'na'kedisha Kisot tzliach sarfei kodesh Ha'makdishim shimcha b'kodesh Ka'katuv v'yadlicha v'karazel zeh Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Melech haaretz kvodo. Kvodo malei malei olam, v'shoatov shoalim shoalim zeh b'zeh. Ayim mikom mikom kvodo, ayim mikom mikom kvodo. Li'umatam baruch yameinu, baruch kivod Adonai mikom. Mikamo, Uyifen, Merachamim, V'yachonam, Yachadim Shemo, Erev Amokim, Yom Tamid, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Eloheinu, Avinu, Malkeinu, Avinu, Malkeinu, Moshienu, Ve'hu Yashmienu B'Rachama, Sheni Li'enei Kol Chai,
Ve'elu yashmi'enu b'rachamav, she'eni li'enei Elohai.
Yolechem Elohim.
Ani Adonai Elohechem.
U'v'divrei Chodecha katuv lemor.
Yimloch Adonai le'olam,
Elohai
Yisrael.
Ador vador lagidon lachal nesach nesachim kedushatam aktish v'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu le'yomish le'olam v'etel no'kedo v'kadosh atah baruch atah Adonai El HaKadosh. Please be seated. Yismechu b'malechutecha shomrei 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 Yismechu b'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat orei onei Shabbat Mekadeshei Mekadeshei Shani Shabbat Kulam Yisbeu V'angu mituvecha Shabbat Yismechu
b'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat korei onei
Shabbat
Yismechu b'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat korei onei Shabbat.
Ashvi ratzita bo v'kidashta ho Shabbat Chemdat yamimo tokarata zecher l'maseh v'reish. Now, before we chant our concluding prayers, we'll have our president, Jordan Pistol, share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. I just want to say that being the Ides of March, we've mentioned several times, the assassination of Julius Caesar, why are they trying to pin it on the Jews now? It's all done and forgotten. There will be Around the Rabbi's Tish and on the Rebbitzin Zoom chairs on Thursday, March 20th at 7:30 p.m. The Shabbat Torah study session will be at the Schroeder's on March 22nd at 10:30 a.m. Deja vu all over again. There will be Around the Rabbi's Tish and on the Rebbitzin Zoom chairs on Thursday, March 27th at 7:30 p.m. Our next Shabbat service will be on Saturday, April 2nd. April 2nd at 10:30 a.m. I'm not the 2nd. It's the 5th, April 5th. But before that, I have a friend's birthday on March 7th. Our April board meeting will be held Wednesday, April 2nd at 7:30 p.m. at the Schroeder's. When I send out the email to the board members, I'll make sure we have the address, although it's in your directory that you all have, right?
Yes.
Excellent. And here it is. Our next Shabbat service will be on Saturday, April 5th at 10:30 a.m. I had it written down. Just not used to that. Also, looking toward the future, on June 8th, traditionally our walk around Lake Balboa. It'll be a walk around what? Northridge, yeah, no, not all of Northridge. It'll be a walk around Leon Knopfenberg's house. But we will have
It's a really big house.
But we will have some water from Lake Balboa house, so that it's just shorter, you know. And I don't know, is it possible? Is there anything against taking water from Lake Balboa?
Oh,
Only if you want to kill somebody. It's fine. Otherwise.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Does anybody have?
I wouldn't.
No,
Do they have a duck?
Why a duck?
At the nothing.
It'll be dead.
No. I will bring, at great sacrifice, I will bring my personal rubber ducky.
Tradition.
But what's missing, we don't want to talk about, but it's not going to be there. When you talk about ducks.
yeah.
You got to walk carefully.
It'll be a cleaner walk.
Oh yes, I understand. Well, not with my rubber ducky.
I suggest that we duck there.
Moving on.
I check with your doctor. He seems to be a quack.
Two things. First of all, this year, is it okay to say it? We are raising the funds J. Fox, Parkinson's. I don't forget the Default Association or what. And the other thing is social action and anyone else who would like to come to help. We're going to have our meeting at Leon's and Andrea's house Friday, April 4th at 11 a.m. Hopefully we're going to have the letterhead, the letters, that are going to be going out to the congregation. Back to me.
Excellent. Anybody have anything else to add?
Introduce your guest, please.
Introduce my guest. This is a friend of mine, Cheryl.
I've been here before.
And she and her she's from Chicago. Well, she lives here. Her mother came in from Chicago to visit with her a few years ago for our High Holy Day service when Rabbi gave the Kishkis sermon.
Yes, and I've never looked at a Kishkas since.
so that's the but yes. Anybody have anything else to add?
Do you have friends from Skokie?
Yes.
That's where I'm from originally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Enough of this.
You get it, the kids.
Yeah, later, schmoozing after.
Thank you.
On occasion, we have gone to Dodger games, and I get tickets in StubHub. And because of her, every time I get a ticket through StubHub, I'm sitting in Little Chicago, and everybody around there's wearing Cub stuff.
Especially you with the hat that you're wearing this little
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Jordan. What rabbi gave the Kishka sermon?
You.
Me?
I don't remember.
I thought today was my Kishka sermon.
Oh, because this is a repeat. Unless you're forgetting that you gave the Kishka sermon.
And she still talks about it too, to this day.
That's a sign of a good sermon.
It was the best service she's ever been to.
Is it this sermon?
No. High holidays.
It was about Kishkas.
Yeah.
But it was a culinary delight that I was listening to. Stuffed derma. But Cheryl, thank you for letting me know that there was an effective sermon.
We keep going to our archives.
Let's join together. Enough banter. Let's bring the service down. Put the singing up. Right. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Keloheinu, Ein Keloheinu, Ein Keloheinu, Ein Moshiachenu, Micheloheinu, 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 Noder Eloheinu, Noder Eloheinu, Noder Eloheinu, Noder Eloheinu, Baruch Makeinu, Baruch Moshiachenu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Makeinu, Atahu Moshiachenu. Please rise if you can. Aleinu l'shamei ha'korato, ha'kol, ha'teikinu ha'le'aseh ha'reshit, shelo ha'samanu ha'ratzon, shelo ha'samanu mishpachot ha'adamah, shelo ha'samkatenu gahem, v'kol ha'aleinu, v'kol ha'amona, v'anachnu korim, v'nishmachim Elohim, v'nei melech, Motei HaMotim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Elohim Hashemayim v'Yosef U'Moshe v'Paro v'Shamayim v'Ba'al, U'Shkina K'zol, U'Shkina K'zol, V'Gavei Meromim, Tu'Eloheinu, Eretz Kakeinu, Efes U'Makom, Hayatu B'Torata, Ve'atayom, Ve'ashivota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, Hashemayim v'Ma'al, Ve'al ha'aretz, Ve'al ha'aretz, Mitachat Eilot, Eilot. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please be seated. However, if you are in mourning or observing Yahrzeit, remain standing as the Temple family joins me in extending to Claire and to her family our deepest condolences on the passing of Lou. With the traditional words, may God comfort you amongst the other mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. And we observe these Yartzites of the coming 3 weeks, Zichronam Livracha, may their memory be for a blessing. Betty Cohen, Alfred Rader, Joy Rose, Harvey Schneer, Robert Vision, Isidore Kramer, Albert Hora, Harry Kritzer, Ethel Bloom, Sally Schroeder, Ruth Schultz, Rella Jackal Mandel Austin, Louis Unkelis, Gerald Shane, Alexander Sapirov, Jacob Schweitzer, Reva Suckman, Sam Rosen, David Deutsch, S. Martin Altschiller, Izzy Goldfarb, Lee Gordon, Blanche Koransky, Alfred Simon, Sam Fay, and Morris Sirota. Are there any names that I neglected? Please raise your hand.
Stuart Walter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have Stuart Walter here. I'm sorry. Any other names that I neglected? Any names online? The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 25. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba. V'yalmad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayerecho Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimiru amen. Yehei shmei ha'mevorach li'olam u'la'omei omei. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudusha b'reichu la'ila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alman Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael. Please be seated. And we conclude our service with Adon Olam, page 26. Adon Olam, Asher Malah, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Mirah, Ben Nasah, B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech, Shalom Nikra.
You're too young, man.
Yashikor, Rabbi.
Thank you. I know. I mean, as soon as she said it, I realized that's the name.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom, Yashikor.
Oh, you're saying hi.
Hi, Shiva. You feel okay?
Yes.
No, she's.
I'll call you after I'm done.
Bye.
Okay, I'm sure you want to get off to your kiddish luncheon, so we'll. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you the next time, maybe.
For sure.
Okay.